Hello everyone, Eric the Car Guy here for yet another FATR episode. This one would be number 34, and I'm going to number it correctly this time. So yes, this is number 34. Sometimes I have senior moments. Last week, I was fortunate enough to be featured on the NBC affiliate in Dallas-Fort Worth on a report about people using YouTube to fix their cars. That would be you, which I thought was great. And also one of my viewers, Patrick Chambers, was in that as well. Gosh, that was really cool. So if you want to check out that news report, if you haven't seen it already, I'm going to post a link down below, along with links to all the other fun, exciting things that I'm going to go over here today. So this morning, before I left, I got an email from my dad, and he sends me stuff all the time, just like little things here and there. It's just kind of his thing. But today he had a neat one for me that I want to share with you today. And it was a test of your knowledge of 1950s American iron. Meaning they give you pictures of different vehicles and different parts of the vehicles, and you take yourself a little test. I think it's something like 48 questions, 48 pictures, and they give you a percentage at the end of how well you did. I got a 75. I don't think that's that bad considering those cars were pretty much made 20 years before I was born, but I have worked on some of them, or some of those brands from that era, which I think is pretty cool. So if you want to test your 1950s American car knowledge, click this link down here that Dad sent me and check it out. Now that we're done with Dad's contribution, let's move on to one of yours. And this one is from Iden S. And this is a blown CRX. It sort of falls in line with that whole rat fink thing we did a couple of weeks back. Check out the CRX with an engine that looks like it weighs as much, actually more, than the car itself. Next up, we have something kind of cool. Back to my dad again. My dad drives a Subaru, and that says a lot for a guy that was basically raised on American muscle cars and stuff like that. I like Subarus myself. I just don't see too many of them here in the shop. I'd like to see more of them. Lots of you have asked about it. Anyway, here's a Subaru with an LS1 Corvette engine in it. Thing sounds awesome. And that was sent to me by Tim Hannum. Yes, Tim Hannum. I hope I said your name correctly. If I don't say your name correctly, I'm an idiot. I've admitted that before, but I will print it on the screen for you. And as long as we're on the subject of odd motorcycles, you've sent me a lot of them. We've been sent the 48-cylinder motorcycle. We've been sent the biodiesel motorcycle, the supercharged one that one guy built. Did we get an electric one? We gotta have an electric one in there somewhere. Now we have a motorcycle powered by a whole bunch of chainsaws. You know, I'm just thinking of the nightmare of hooking up the throttle linkage to all those things, just so that you can run it. I mean, it would be fun just to figure all that out. It's a lot of tedious work, but wow, you people got a lot of time on your hands. And the chainsaw bike was sent to us by Richard Albury. And then for some reason, when I was going through all the submissions for the FATR, I had a ton on Runaway diesels. And what is a Runaway diesel, you might ask? For those of you that don't know what a Runaway diesel is, it is a condition in which, why don't I just back up a second? Diesel engines aren't like gasoline engines in that they have a throttle plate that opens and closes, and the more air that goes into the engine, the faster the engine goes, along with the mixture of fuel. Diesels are different in that respect. They control the amount of fuel going into the cylinder for how much it's putting out. Well, there's a condition that can happen to where the diesel engine will no longer run on the fuel that you're giving it. It will start to run on its own oil. So maybe the engine gets a little bit worn, something like that. The oil starts to slip past the rings, and next thing you know, the thing is running. You're not touching the throttle or anything. It's running full bore, and it just will not quit. The only way I know to stop it is to block the air off going into the engine. I've even seen guys take telephone books and throw them on the top of the intake so that it tries to suck the telephone book in and it can't, it chokes itself out. So I got a rash of diesel Runaway videos, and actually I got them sent from a couple of people. Hawk2, who's contributed several times to the FATR, sent me a couple of these, in addition to, this is Rookie SC, also known as Roland. In addition to those links to those 4 videos that I was just showing you there, I'm going to post a link to a Wikipedia description of what a diesel Runaway is all about. That way you have some idea. So if you have a diesel vehicle and it's older and worn out, or you haven't changed the oil in a really long time, that kind of thing, you might want to think about doing that, because this kind of condition can result as a result of lack of maintenance or just an older, worn out diesel. So just a word of warning. I've given you less in this FATR than I normally do. And I went through and I had a lot of submissions this time about some street racing. I love fast cars. I love built-up engines and those kind of things. But street racing is something I cannot endorse. I just can't. And the reason is, and this is where I'm coming from in my head. Reasoning is I'm driving down the road here in my element, something like that. Just cruising down the highway, 70 miles an hour, not bothering anybody. I'm taking my kids to their grandma's, right? Somebody comes flying along up behind me at 100 some miles an hour. My kids are in the car. That is so uncool, okay? So uncool. And I'm not just saying my kids, I mean there's other people out there on the roads. That's why street racing is so dangerous, because it's unpredictable. When you're traveling at a high rate of speed, you don't have time to react. I don't care how young you are, or how fast, or how cool your car is, or whatever. Many times it ends badly, either with you in jail or somebody hurt or killed. So don't send me street racing videos. And I've been sent one by, I wish I could pronounce this name. This is Pio Seaslick. I'm very sorry I can't pronounce your name, but I'll put it up here so that others can see it and perhaps they can read it. This is a neat video, and I've seen this program before, and this is like a repost of a program that's out there to where they actually take different vehicles and crash them. I saw the one that they did a while ago on a smart car, but this is one they did for a high-speed crash. They take, I believe it's a Ford Focus, and do it at 120 miles an hour, smack into a wall, just so that you can see the effect. It's the same thing with bullets. The higher the velocity of a bullet, the more the damage it's going to inflict. The higher velocity, the higher the speed of a vehicle that's the crash, the more damage it's going to cause. So I just want you to think for a second. I am preaching to you. I'm not going to lie to you, but I think this is important. I mean, keep the speed for the track, okay? As long as we're on the subject of this, let's talk a little bit about things to send in for the FATR. First of all, whenever I see a link that somebody sends me in my email, and that's the most common place I get them. I also get them via YouTube messaging and like that, but if you want to, you can send them to Eric@EricTheCarGuy.com. But first, know that anytime I see any kind of link in an email, I pretty much just set it aside for a time when I go through them, because I go through a bunch of those at once. If you're gonna make submissions, do it to my email, Eric@EricTheCarGuy.com, but also don't stick like a car question or something along with that link, because I don't even read those emails. I just see that there's a link for a FATR or something in the subject line that says FATR, and I just set those aside for the time when I can go through them. There are a lot of submissions from a lot of different places. But number one, stay away from street racing videos. I'm not going to show those on the FATR. I just can't. Number two, try to keep it automotive related, somehow automotive related. I know we went into those weird vehicles and those weird machines, and actually I've thrown in a thing or two that wasn't exactly directly related to automotive stuff, and I apologize for that. But let's try to keep those as automotive things. Some people just send me things, they think it's cool. Fine, I'm great with that. Really long videos, like I've had some people send me some that were like 15 minutes long. I'm sorry, I just don't have time to watch that entire video. Try to keep them like 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. 3 minutes, awesome. And that allows me to get through more of those. Some people also post them to my Facebook. I can honestly say that the submissions on my Facebook are probably the worst place to put them. Any place else, my email, or you can message me on YouTube. Once again, that's not exactly the best place either, because that's not the first place I go. In closing, I would just like to thank everybody who's signed up for the forum. And I'd also like to thank those people that have been contributing. I have a thread on there, the ETCG suggestion box. In the future, if there's something you want to see more of or less of, say on Eric the Car Guy, you can head over to EricTheCarGuy.com, head over to the forum, sign up for that. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can make submissions as far as suggestions to me. There's two places I go almost daily, at least At the very least, I go every other day to the Eric the Car Guy forum to answer questions. In fact, if you're going to ask me automotive questions, go there first, because that, for me, always takes priority over email, Facebook, anything else. That kind of input gives me ideas of how to make this show better for you. And that's ultimately what I want. I want you guys to really enjoy this as much as I enjoy making it. I'm going to wrap this up. I really enjoyed this FATR number 34. Thanks to everybody who made submissions, and as I said, please try to follow those guidelines in the future should you decide to make submissions in the future. I'm Eric the Car Guy. You can always visit me at EricTheCarGuy.com, or you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And I always close with be safe, have fun, and stay dirty. And enjoy your weekend or whatever it is when you're watching this video. Thanks for watching. See you later.